All right, welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is still the press coming to you live from the Abuja studios of KAFTAN Television. And now I've been joined by Comrade Duke Alamboye. And together we shall be taking a look at the headlines I read out to you earlier. And this is also a reminder that our phone lines are open for you to call and join the conversation. Thank you so much for joining me on the program.
It's a pleasure having me here too.
It's always a pleasure to have you.
Yeah.
We have lots of interesting conversations coming from our national dailies. And okay, let's begin with this headline. That's the boldest headline on the Punch this morning. It says 26 days to go. Outrage as Senate approves Buhari's 22.7 trillion naira extra budgetary spending. And that headline also says 22.7 trillion naira extra budgetary spending to raise public debts to 69 trillion naira. How do you react to this?
Well, this is laughable, and I think the people at the point of leadership begins to think that Nigerians are daft enough. Some few days to go, and it's so ridiculous that we are having an APC outgoing government handing over actually to an APC government. So please, what is this cry? What is this so much urgent project or deficit in nature that they want to restore? They want to quickly, what project is it that they want to quickly do before they exit?
In less than 5 days.
It's worrisome, and this is where I really think civil society groups should come out to oppose stuff like this. An approval the president has put in, I think since last year or early this year, that was ignored by the same Senate, the 9th Senate. Today, at just the point of exit, approve such whooping sum of money. For what reason? Can't this project wait? Can't they? What is the essence of continuity in government? I thought the president-elect is coming to continue from where the President Buhari has stopped his projects. So I think that this is a way, this is one of the shortest cuts for them to siphon our treasure in this country. This is unacceptable in some countries. Where we are well organized, from today, what should be happening in the presidency is total preparation to hand over, settling out, handing over materials, getting set to leave office, preparing a good atmosphere, good records, good propositions for the incoming government. Areas of achievements. From yesterday, they're supposed to have been dialing out what we're supposed to have been seeing at what President Buhari has done in the country, what he is yet to do, the projection, what is handing over to the next government. We're not seeing all of this. What we are seeing is the first time they come up to say they want to increase, they want to remove fuel subsidy, and have another whooping sum of billions of nairas to give. So changing our minds to the fact that they want to increase 40% of salaries to civil servants. To do what? Why are these projects, why are these things so much in a hurry? Now again, they've come up to approve 22.7 trillion naira. This is so outrageous. This is condemnable. But we're in a country where anything goes. So you can see what is happening. They do whatever they like. At any time they want to do it and get scot-free with all of this. It's so disheartening that this is happening. So when they finish the little money in our treasury, what is the incoming government going to do? We'll begin to now see the Aswaju government begin to cripple from the childhood again, beginning to think of how to source for fund, and that is why you continue to see this country going from debt to debt. Because when you borrow, when you want to go, what we see is that when a particular government wants to leave office, they keep borrowing. Let me take you back to an instance of what is happening in Cross River now. The Governor Ayade, all the good things he came up with, the airline, the whatever, the agri project, everything. Today, as we speak, he is privatizing all, going from behind to buy all these things. So this is what we see, and it's disheartening. At the end of a tail of every administration, they carve out a niche, they carve out projects, immediate projects they need to complete before they leave office, and take away. I don't want to use the word loot. That is the right word I should use, but let me respect myself to say they take away huge amounts of money from the treasury, leaving the incoming government to suffer the same process. So that where a new government had come in 1 year, 2 years, they are struggling to put their hands together because there is no money in the treasury. They are beginning to think of how to borrow, you see. So it's no dives downward the process for progression, the process for growth, for development. That is why you see 4 years. The government in 2 years have not been able to do anything. The third year they are preparing for election, and then people continue to ask, "You've been there for 4 years. What have you done?" These are antecedents. These are the bad fall shots of the previous government. Now it's ridiculous, more ridiculous and more worrisome that they don't have any problem because they are giving out and giving in. What I mean by that is that the APC government is outgoing, another APC government is taking over. So what is the disparity? What is the worry that they wouldn't have handed over this very fantastic projects
to the next government,
the next president for consideration?
Okay, you made mention of the fact that this is where the civil society organizations are supposed to be coming in.
Yes.
But then the question is, how much can the civil society organizations do?
Yes, they can do a lot. Yes, because we have we are not saying that politicians at the end of affair they're not respecters of the law. They're not respecters of anybody. But when you give your voice, it will be noted that you've once halted this process and they went for that to do it. But if we keep quiet, the more they will have the boldness and the whip and caprices to thinking that it is even their rights to do all this kind of a thing. So I think if reasonably so many civil society groups, organization comes in to kick against this kind of acts, sometimes even try to take these activities to court for interpretation.
Okay.
I think we will have an headway. It will begin to deter them from doing this kind of a thing, knowing that it is not going to be a free-for-all process. But when they do it and nobody is challenging it, they just go scot-free with it, of course, the next administration will come in again, and at their exit, they will still sweep off the treasury in the name of one project or the other. I can tell you that if you sample opinion of this to the public, you will be shocked that people are really going to go against it and will not condone what is happening in our nation. This is sad to our treasury. This is sad to the incoming government. This is sad to development. This is going to slow down again the incoming administration when they want to need money to do several functions and projects.
Okay, you know that this loan is coming from the Central Bank of Nigeria.
Yes.
Because at most places on the international level, we have exhausted how much we can borrow, and most countries are not even agreeing to borrow to Nigeria anymore.
Yeah.
So, like you made mention of, this is going to cripple the incoming government. And thinking about or taking into consideration how much we owe right now, I saw one of our national dailies reported this morning that it's going to take Nigeria 40 years to repay what we owe the public. Not even on the international scene. I don't know if we will ever be able to pay what we owe on the international scene.
Yes.
So, taking into consideration all of this, do you think that at any point our economy will ever get better?
Yes.
And if yes, how do we work towards that?
I'm a true believer of, I'm very optimistic when I do things. And in my opinion, if Nigeria decides to move from consumption economy to production economy, this will be a thing of the past. The first responsibility for every government is to provide atmosphere, a thriving atmosphere for investment. The more you have investment capacity building in the country, the more you are restrained from borrowing, because you begin to see your per capita income grow, you begin to see the internal IGP or something begin to grow. So when these indices begin to grow, what it means is that you become independent, and the financial houses begin to get their growth. The value of your naira begins to appreciate. If these indices are absent, it is true, we may even spend more than 40 years paying our internal debt. We're not even talking about external borrowing. This is what the federal government is owing even its CBN. Yes, I agree. If domestic products are not encouraged, if domestic productions are not encouraged, if local consumption are not encouraged, if enhancing the economy internally is not encouraged, I can tell you, my dear, that it's going to take more than 40 years. So what the solution here is, as the new government is coming, they should concentrate on moving Nigerians from a consumption and importing nation to a productive and self-consuming nation. That is, most things we even import, we can actually produce them in our country and depend on our local production, which I think I give some kudos to this administration. They tried in curtailing so many importations and they made Nigerian producers. So they need to develop in all of this and make production and make investments, attract more investments to the country so that our GDP will rise. If we are having a riser in our GDP, it means that we will move away from a depressed economy to a growing economy. And that is the way we will stop borrowing. And that's the way we'll be so dependent on our internal outcome to plug back into development. One of the major things that is lacking in this administration, or that is causing all of this, is that they are not even social provisions. Even the little business houses that we have do not even have the enabling grants to operate. You run fuel for your business at a daily basis. The roads are bad. Cost of transporting products are very expensive. Cost of going to have even services are very expensive. So this is where we should go. And I can assure you that if we put these indices, or we begin to consider these factors to making Nigeria a production country, nation, we will move out of all of this. And then really get the orientation, educating the Nigerian people that we must leave the level of corruption that is in this country. One thing again that slow dives our progression is in-depth corruption. Whenever a particular person is put into office, he does not recognize that his function there is to serve the public. What he is concerned about is what does he make within the next 4 years as they go to the next election, so that he can be a provider of financial assistance to his political party. So people do not really come to power to take the responsibility that is attached to that position. So the orientation bodies must seriously do a thorough work. We're not seeing ministers going on training again. Well, once they appoint a minister, he is the overall. He does not even take instruction from the permanent secretaries in the ministries. So these are the little economic factors that is keeping the slow pace we're experiencing. And I can tell you that projection might be correct if we do not take deliberate actions and willingness to moving our country from basic and thorough consumption to practical production that can even afford exports to make us
because it's that move now that's going to be the problem. How to move Nigeria from a consuming to a producing country. We need finances for that, which we're already lacking at this point.
Yes, we have collaborations. That is why we are in international. Nigerians are members of international bodies, and international organizations. So there are bilateral treaties here and there. They should pick them up. They've ignored all these things. We have bilateral this thing with China. We have with developed countries, the UK, the American. So what are we doing with them lately? Nothing to show on board. So it must not really mean if you want to build a house, sometimes you may not really need the whole money to build. Your level of collaboration can make you build a house where you have said to say, okay, you want to get everybody involved in building the house, meaning that everybody is going to be part of the proceeds that will come from this house. So people begin to donate money towards that because they know that when that house begins to yield its profit, they are all going to earn dividends from those proceeds. So I don't think money is the problem. The problem is the will and the ability to make sure that these things come to be. So I don't think money is going to be the problem. The problem is going to be putting the right persons at the right place to make sure these things are quite enacted. Then moving our minds from the level of corruption we have, that is to say, having appointed, you are aware that the ministry you are, or the responsibility settled with you, is to make sure you project our country as a nation for its betterment. When the nation grows, you are also going to grow. But what we see these days is when people are appointed to places of appointment or positions, they think of self. And most importantly, they want to garner what they can garner within 3 years so that they can be financial participants in various elections to regain those appointments. So this is where we are, and this is the problem. So I strongly believe that it is doable. It's not about money. It's about what collaboration are we looking at to move our country. What are the countries that are doing well in self-sufficiency, in production, in economic growth? We talk to them. They can move their skills and efficiency into our country, and we'll get these things done.
But you know, it's not just about the government. I feel like the office of the average Nigerian also have a role to play in the economic growth, because we are seeing this headline from The Nation this morning. Now 40% of Nigeria banks, not all Nigerians, now bank in US dollars. So people are now saving their money in dollars. They are not saving in naira anymore. And then we also need human capital to grow the economy. Nigerians are living on a daily basis. And
there's a policy. There's a policy, my dear. You see, it's when you don't have strong leaders, it's not only willing, but your ability to say no. In Liberia today, as we talk, as we speak here, they use dollar. I was speaking with my friend last night. He said they use dollar as a local currency. So the meaning you can use dollar to go and buy what you want to buy. You can use their own currency to go and buy what you buy. Today in Nigeria, we see dollar as a god in the financial sector. So if you are practically not improving your economy to enable the appreciation of your local currency, people will be forced to start keeping their money in that value. Then what about policies? CBN, they are not really enforcing their policy. So they are not also able to do that because of the low level value our currency is. So you see us always consuming. You see us always borrowing. You know, let me take it back to an household. When you always borrow, the significant effect is that you're losing value even at home. Before you know, if you're not being able to pay, you're selling out the house, you're selling out the content of the house, selling television, selling chairs. That is what is happening. Because the weight of your capacity and your capability, more is outside, leaving you with little of emptiness at home. So daddy is spending 30,000 naira per day in the house. Is daddy producing? Is daddy working to earn this 30,000? So when he comes home, the money he's spending is adding value to the economic of his house. If that is attained, he stands to be a man. From 1-bedroom flat, he can now say we are moving to 2-bedroom flat. If that is always borrowing, the implication here is that someday that is not producing. Production means it's not working, it's not doing anything that seems like income. What will happen is that someday that will rely on selling out the internal properties to facilitate those borrowing or to even survive the household. This is the simple analysis I can give about what's happening in Nigeria. We are borrowing. When you borrow, it reduces the strength of your local currency. It reduces the activities that are supposed to happen independently in your country. When even other country comes to do anything in your country, because your economic value is low, they want to use what I call neocolonialism. They want to do everything to ensure that they can quickly get out from your nets of poverty. So this is what is happening. So you see, people are becoming very aware of what is happening and do not want to fall into that trap. One stable currency in the country, in the world, is the dollars, and they are sure that the dollar is equivalently almost appreciating every day. So if I save, I have 1 billion and I save it in dollars in my domiciliary account, I am sure to 80 to 90% that I'll come back to meet those money in appreciation. In just opposing that to when you leave your 1 billion naira in the bank, and in the next 2 years your 1 billion naira becomes worthless because economic activities have gone down, social activities have gone down, there's no production. What I see is consumption, borrowing, and all sort of manner of activities that will bring down the economy. So in the next 2 years, instead of your 1 billion to appreciate you getting a house, you may not even use the 1 billion to afford a car. So people are beginning to be aware of all of this. And let me even take it to the areas of investment. You want to take 1 billion naira for investment, and you are asking yourself, in the next 4 years, are you still going to be able to sustain this business? So people are scared of the way the economy is going. So you are seeing people trying to make sure that they save they said save your money where your mouth is, or save your mouth where your money is. So that's what's happening to these people that are beginning to think that their money should be in dollars value other than the local currency.
All right. You also made mention earlier about the orientation agency, and you said just now that people are becoming more aware. But I feel like they're becoming more aware of the fact that, yes, the economy is bad, but they are not aware of how they could play roles in also enhancing the economy. Because we see more Nigerians living every day. I was going to mention that earlier. But then it's not like it's so green on the other side. But they just have this mentality of the mindset that it's always better there. You can always leave your home in a mess, but you can also fix it before you leave. Or you can just stay at home and fix everything. But I feel like Nigerians are just at the place where we're not ready for this and we're leaving. So at the end of the day, when everybody keeps leaving, we have nothing to come back to. Let's take into consideration. Okay, let's see this headline. In Sudan, 2 aircrafts fly back 376 Nigerians. And from the statistics that we have, it's saying that most of these are students. I don't want to believe that I know that we have issues of ASU strike here and there, but
yeah,
you won't categorically tell me that education is better in Sudan than it is here in Nigeria.
Education is better in Sudan. That is the implication of what you're seeing. The rise in number of students leaving their country to go and gain education, as important as education. Students are deliberately calculating the cost for 4 years course, computing it with logistics, accommodation, and deliberately leaving the country to a poorer nation, Sudan, to school. It means that there is stability in education in Sudan. It means that the cost for schooling in Sudan is lesser to Nigeria. It also means that, in consideration, the level of educational standard you attain in Sudan is also not too bad. So who do you blame? Are you blaming the students where they're in a country where strike means nothing to the administration? Strike, the angers of tutors, lecturers, mean nothing to the government. Strike is an instrument, it's a perpetual instrument for tertiary institutions. These are nation builders. These are good engineers, lawyers, administrators, nurses that will come out in the next 2-3 years to administer, play politics, administer what do you call medicine, and then you keep them a course that is supposed to end for 4 years. In the next 7 years, nobody has graduated. They don't even have the fight. Now let us even forget about the delay. Look at the decay in our educational sector. Check out, go out and talk to statistics. Talk to science students. They will tell you their counterparts. You cannot compare their counterparts with them when it comes to getting these things done. We have sophisticated professors in our country, but where are the research programs? Where are the tools? Where are the encouragement? What is the enhancement we have in our educational sector? Are we blaming Nigerians that have also not resorted to violence, not resorting to the already ill fates in the society, rather making ends, making up their minds to further their education, but this time around to a nation where they can have it settled? Who do you blame? Government have moved from their responsibility to doing what only God knows. We are not seeing the vibrant government that is deliberate to say education must be a key project in our administration. 4 years in the tertiary is 4 years. 6 years in secondary school is 6 years. And then equipping the tertiary institutions, the secondary school institutions, to fit best standard practices. We are not seeing all of this. You and I know how long it was a struggle, fights, quarrels, protests here and there for issues of ASU to be resolved. I don't know if
which has not even still
I don't know if school has even resumed. So that gave rise to the flock in private universities, and of course people that cannot afford it went out of the country to go there. I took a study, a case study of it. It's about less than $1 million Nigerian naira to do 4 years course in Sudan. I said less than $1 million naira to stay in Sudan and finish 4 years course and come back. So what do you blame? You want those number of students to be in Nigeria and go back to the vices of what we are seeing today? I appreciate them. I congratulate them for their good thoughts. Until government begin to know that there is problem, these things will begin to happen.
Well, don't you think it's going to be a long time from now before that this particular issue gets solved? Because someone was of the opinion, and I think I also buy that an incoming government now has to start from somewhere. That all of this their campaigning manifestos that they gave, I will do this, do this, do this. You have to fix one problem at a time.
Sandra, I just told you that the fortunate thing that has happened, if it's going to stay, is that there's a transition from APC government to APC government, meaning that they know the issues.
Yes.
So,
but you can't fix it all at once.
Asiwaju does not even need to give Nigerians a manifesto. He knows what is happening in his government, that is part and parcel of. So it's to pick up what they've not done and do it. So in doing this, it needs deliberate actions, not political actions. We need deliberate and frank actions to move our country on. And they're not traveling out. What is happening in the medical sector? What is happening in the educational sector? What is happening to security of lives and property in the nation? What is happening to production, the industries? They are few but very important. And until government are deliberate to solving these issues, we will not go anywhere.
But that's what
if you come in and still politicize A, B, C, oh, you want to give appointment? We have good technocrats. Nigerians are very knowledgeable enough to solve their problem. Until you deliberately sit down and begin to pick this people. I'll be so disappointed if Asiwaju's government stays and in the next 6 months we've not seen the effect of a better change, because in his words, he has been ready.
Yes.
For this project
for a very long time.
Meaning they are well abreast with what is happening, where it should be solved. I give it to him. We saw what his land strides in Lagos. Yes. So irrespective of age, is still that Asiwaju we know. So it will be so disheartening if at the moment like this he is not still preparing himself. As soon as he takes off, his project takes off. Also disheartening that his party, the outgoing administration, is trying to pull him down as he comes to power by making sure that they draw off the treasury to keep him unstable for some long period of time. This is what I see that's happening, and it's quite disheartening. So what do you blame?
All right, we'll have a caller on the line. Hello, good morning.
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm calling from Abuja. This is your baby.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
Oh, fine. The truth of the matter is that are these people really listening to us? Do they even care to know what we're feeling? Are they really feeling what Nigeria is going through? I think our leaders are wicked. And our problem is on the National Assembly. That is the greatest problem of this country. Our greatest problem, our greatest enemy of democracy is our National Assembly. They are our problem. From the National Assembly down to the State House of Assembly, they are our problem. But I think Nigeria need to stand up for their rights. Look at what happened during the NSAT issue. It shaped Nigeria to an extent that Nigeria woke up to some certain things. But I think when we begin to live, because someone must sacrifice his life for the redemptions of this country. And our forefathers have done that for us. And we must also realize that we must take it. Power is not being given. You must contest for it. And I love that for that. Then definitely for us to snatch this menace and this worst kinds of leadership we have found ourselves with, for us to take away this power from their hands and then look for who is that person genuinely to rescue this country for the menace of education, for the menace of hospital health, for the menace of economics. I think we have something to do. Look at the 2023 general election that just came and gone. We are looking forward to the judiciary. I will whip over this issue that can the judiciary be the common hope of the democracy, not really the common hope of reformers in this country? Can they really be the common hope of the democracies in Nigeria? If they can't, Nigeria will be facing order. I don't have a problem with age. I don't have a problem with religions. But what we are looking for now is this. Why is this country going this way? If really we are looking for peace, we are looking for unity, we want to remain one country, one Nigeria, why are we going this way? Do we really look at the level of what is going down right now in Sudan, where our children is coming from? I said it yesterday in your program. I said, come, what is going on in Sudan now? Almost 100 over 100 of it has happened in Nigeria, but Nigeria is still saying peace. But there is a level you can drive Nigeria to, it will blow up. And when it blows up, it will be worse. There is no space of Nigeria's state today that there is no sharing of blood and killings.
All right, thank you so much for your contribution.
So I am calling on the citizens that we need to not, we must not give up, whether they are listening or not listening. We must keep talking. We must keep pushing. But nobody should push Nigeria to take the law into it.
All right, thank you.
Because look at our citizens in Sudan. Sorry. Look at our citizens in Sudan. Look at the kind of what they are going through. Look at their rather than that. Look at the name. Now, my brother in the studio was making a comment, and that is very good at it. 500,000 can take good care of a citizen before you see crossing that place. But look at it in Nigeria. Can 5 million take care of your child here in Nigeria? Not even for the 4 years. We have a big problem.
All right, thank you so
much.
And
I pray that God will help us, but we must stand up for our right.
All right.
And fight for it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate your justice.
Thank you so much for coming on the program. All right. Do you have any contributions to what
we're still saying the same thing. We're still saying the same thing. And we have to deliberately keep pushing. One thing he said that struck me is, of course, yeah, how far is the media taking all these messages? How far is this being pushed? When we come and speak frankly like this, is $100 million question.
All right, now we have more callers on the line. I think we'll have to take all of these calls before we go. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Sandra.
Hello, good morning to you too. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. All right. Hello to your analyst there.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, thank you. First and foremost, if I want to talk about Nigeria, I'm a youth, you know, and I know some of my elder brothers that are not within the youth level now. The same story, they keep on saying that it should be good, the future will be okay until they get to the age they are, no any opportunity. But anyway, let's put that one aside. Now we have President-elect. See, to fix Nigeria, some say it should start from the bottom. I think the bottom will not work this time around. We need one strong leader. So can this president-elect be that person? The last speaker or somebody made mention, someone has to sacrifice his life. So for whatever it takes, because almost every sector in the Nigerian system is so bad. You talk about the health, you know, go to the health sector, you know the treatment and how whatever, and you can't blame some of them because the way the government also treats them, that is what they are transferring back to the society, to the people. The same thing in the educational sector. Okay, so what I'm driving at here is this. One, the president must be ready to sacrifice his life. Definitely you must know that there are some people that will stand as an obstacle, no matter how strong they are, in as much as he knows what is right to do, if we are able to do that, because if that is not happening, we are just wasting our time. Education must be invested into, agriculture, the military in terms of security, the police, okay? See, every part of it that you have is only miracle that is holding Nigeria, say it or not. That is the fact. So we need it. So I hope this president And I wish Nigeria the greatest luck.
Thank you so much. All right, now still on the issues of oil, I think most of the headlines we have this morning on our national dailies are related to the economy. This headline from the Nigerian Tribune says, Tinubu to Wike, I owe you nothing. And this is coming as the as the Rivers State governor, I beg your pardon, is asking for a refund of the 80 billion naira he has spent so far on federal projects. So do you think he should get a refund, or him asking for a refund, do you even think that's the right thing to do? Well, because whether federal money, yes, state money, it's Nigeria's money.
To be frank, yes, when you it's enshrined, it's constitutional that when a governor spends monies for on federal projects, yes, he seeks for a refund. It's normal and it's constitutional. But my worry is at the time when the president has not even come in to sit, it will be like pushing too hard for that. But I also know that in his ways, the governor of Rivers State would have just put in that as a comic, one of these comical.
Because we all know the kind of person he is.
I don't think he's so insensitive not to know that the president needs to be sworn in, sit down, form cabinets. And it's just like a sort of pre-information or creating an awareness that, look, most of these projects you see are actually federal government projects, and I've done them. I think it's passing the message, passing the message in two ways, letting the president know that all these projects that have been going on to beautify or give a good standard of living to Rivers people are actually duties of the federal government. And sir, as you're coming in, we expect that you know that we've done this, and of course normally it's going to be a reform. That's why in his response, the president-elect, if you notice, didn't kick against the request. He only said that it cannot be cajoled into doing that at his first sitting, but you have to lobby. And if we know the word lobby, that is actually the constitutional word for it. We saw Asiwaju played his maturity again in Rivers State when he said the Rivers State government will lobby to get it, meaning that there's a lot to do. But of course, if this is a priority for you to have your reforms to make more development, we're going to do that, but you're going to go through the process to get it right. Not per se because I'm in Rivers State to commission one of those projects. I must pay immediately. I see that I must pay for it. It must go through due process. I don't want people to make emotional or sentimental interpretations of it. Both of them, both the governor and the president, had their rights acts on it. The governor, having gone through some federal projects, feels that this is the person he could talk to at a time that could understand that these projects are actually federal government responsibilities. However, for the convenience of Rivers people, he has embarked on this project and might be coming out for a refund. And the president-elect, while responding to that, also comically said to him, you have to lobby to get this money. It's not a smooth rider. We all know where the economy of the country is. And I'm sure the governor of Rivers State, Governor Wike, also knows and very aware of it that it's not going to be easy that the president will just sit and then pay back how many billions that is quoted there. But it's achievable. But Mr. Man, we're going to go through the good ranks to get it done. I've not seen anything wrong in those statements. Don't also forget, in the course of his other what they call inaugurations, he acknowledged the fact that the president has done fantastically very well in terms of providing infrastructure. To that effect, these are the most conspicuous projects. So once a governor comes into powers and you're not doing conspicuous project and you're putting in capital, it's costly to put in for capital. That's per capita development. What the government is responsible to do is provide good roads, an enabling ground, electricity, those enablers of economic activities. But once you settle that, you have empowered indirectly your people. And this is one area Yoson Wike has concentrated. And also good thing for Rivers State, we are seeing a transition from the PDP government to another PDP government. So we expect more fantastic projects that will be done in accordance with law and giving the people their strive. You also saw when Asiwaju said these roads are actually yours too. So we appreciate that you took up the cause, the pains to ensure that these things are put in place. So in my opinion, I've not seen any rift. I'm not seeing any strong words. I'm seeing where Two mature people had passed messages to themselves that, look, you owe me. The other one has said, yes, I owe you, but you have to go through the pay slips to get your payment.
All right, thank you so much for coming on the program. It's been amazing talking to you. And from the look of things, you know that our viewers also enjoyed the conversation. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
It's a pleasure having me.
All right, with that, we'll draw the curtain today on the press, coming to you live from the Abuja studios of KAFTAN Television. Till I come your way tomorrow, I am Sandra. Enjoy the rest of your day.